I'm the big man, attorney Joey Franks with Big Man Law here in Jackson, Mississippi. And we are off to see Judge Middleton. It's a little unusual one for us. Guy's arguing over a stolen motorcycle. He claims that it is his, and, well, I'll let you take a look at it and make a determination of what you think.
Now, we've cleared the decks of everything else until our landlord tenant cases are completed. Our general civil cases are completed, except for Stephen Pontius versus St. Joseph County Sheriff's Department. And Rachel Britton, T.J. Baker, Jason Bingaman. This has to do with a 2010 Harley Davidson motorcycle. And this matter is complicated. And I did not require Mr. Pontius to post a bond. He did file a petition regarding the impoundment of the motor vehicle. The case of Noel v. Ritzer can require, in fact, does generally require the person to post the bond. This case involves this 2010 Harley Davidson motorcycle, which was reported as having been stolen from Wayne County. In fact, I believe was stolen from Wayne County. Mr. Pontius was the owner of this vehicle, and I'm not sure how he came to have possession of this, but the sheriff's department impounded it because it was reported as stolen. Then it gets confusing after that, whether it is stolen or was stolen or whether Wayne County wants it. I don't know what the status of this is. So Mr. Pontius, we'll defer to you first. And I expect we're going to have to continue this hearing to another date to take more information under oath. But what's your position?
My position is that something fishy is going on. All the information that I got from the police doesn't pan out. Nobody can verify it. And matter of fact, everybody from Lieutenant Campbell in the Detroit to the supervisor for the district for the stolen vehicle department in Detroit, she said that they've never had that motorcycle in their vehicle records. The head insurance agent for Liberty Mutual says she don't have it in her records anywhere. And now Brokers Towing says that Copart came and picked it up. Well, I called Copart, and Copart said they didn't come get it. They said it's not in any of the records anywhere.
Who is Copart?
Copart is a salvage dealer that buys things from insurance companies and then resells them at a different price, which is, I believe, what happens is they sold it. And then when they got the notice, because they were the last person to have it legally registered, somebody either they came and got it and say they didn't, or they didn't come get it and brokers are saying they did. I don't know. But everything that I've been told doesn't line up. Nobody can verify anything, and everybody's telling me the opposite of what the police are telling me. And I require my property back.
Well, nobody's under oath at this point. I think at some point we're going to have to do that. But how did you acquire this motorcycle?
I bought it. I was going to fix it up for my son for a wedding present. And his new wife, she didn't want nothing to do with him being on a motorcycle.
You bought it from who?
I bought it from Matt Gillette. I've got all his information. I gave that to the police as well.
All right, where is he?
He's in Marshall, Michigan.
Did he provide a title?
He did not.
There's your first mistake.
Well, I did all the research beforehand. I checked out Secretary of State's website. They said it wasn't stolen anymore, but it was in the salvage vehicle database. That means it's been recovered. I checked with the insurance insurance, motor carrier, insurance bureau, theft bureau, or whatever it is. I got it right here written down. 1 second. It's the National Insurance Crime Bureau. They've got a web portal, and I did a VIN check on it. And again, it came back in their salvage vehicle database, not in their stolen vehicle database. So that's a recovery. That's been stolen and it's been recovered.
In
Okay,
fact,
sorry.
I'm going to put you under oath. Mr. Pontius was not. Would you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
All right. So someone called the department regarding purchasing the motorcycle.
Yes, Josh Kramer.
Who's that person?
His name is Josh Kramer.
All right. How do you spell that?
Kramer is Kramer. Josh is basic spelling, Josh.
All right. And they called the sheriff and said, I want to buy this motorcycle, but it shows stolen.
He called dispatch and he asked for a deputy to come out because he was going to buy the motorcycle from Mr. Pontius, and he knew there wasn't a title. He just wanted it ran to make sure that it wasn't reported stolen before he bought it. So then when I went there and I ran it, I didn't have any reason to believe that it would be stolen. But then it did come back stolen out of Detroit. Your Honor, I hope you got the information, but I did have our ladies up front send an email with the lien paperwork that provided all of the records with the motorcycle registration information, as well as the conversation between dispatch and Detroit Police Department that night.
All right. Well, that documentation was emailed to the court on August 5th. I directed it be forwarded it to Mr. Pontius, but I don't know that it ever was. Please put this in on base and forward a copy to the defendant. It was put in on base.
Not the defendant.
Oh yeah, you're the plaintiff. Good point. You're the plaintiff, so maybe that's why it didn't get sent. You're the plaintiff. She said, at any rate, you didn't get it. So, Deputy Britton, what does that documentation show?
So this documentation is the lien work, which is why I couldn't show it to you that day. So the registration holder as Liberty Mutual Insurance. And then it's also the complete conversation between our dispatch and the dispatch of Detroit Police Department, showing that the vehicle was confirmed stolen with Detroit Police Department from 12/27/2020 from the 11th precinct. It gives the exact desk supervisor who entered it and authorized it. And then the conversation that shows that I'm out with the vehicle or with the motorcycle, given the VIN that was on it, and them responding that it was confirmed stolen, them asking questions, me responding, and then them stating they wanted it and that they would cancel it out of lien so that we could enter it as impounded.
They requested that you impound the vehicle.
Yes. Somewhere.
Then what did you do?
I entered it as impounded, and Brokers Towing came and picked up the motorcycle.
When was that?
That was on July 11th.
And I assume Mr. Kramer did not execute a purchase on the motorcycle.
He did not. He had left in the middle of the conversation once he realized that it was confirmed stolen.
All right. And the title holder was Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Yes.
But anyway, what it confirms, Ms. Britton, is this motorcycle was stolen, so you impounded it at the direction of the Detroit Police Department. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, actually, it's at the say of, they have someone that handles all this stuff. Detroit Auto Recovery is who handles those things for them.
They're a division of the city or the Wayne County Sheriff?
The city, I believe, is the city is the one who entered it as stolen. Confirm with entry jurisdiction, Detroit Police Department, 6300 Caniff Auto Recovery Section, Detroit. So they just have their own stolen vehicle department, I would assume.
All right. So,
Fancy big city people stuff.
yes, as opposed to us small city people. So this motorcycle was reported stolen from the Detroit Police Department. You have it. You have no title to it. You're attempting to sell it to somebody without a title. He was wise enough to have it checked out and it got impounded. So I'm trying to find. All right. Let's stop for a minute. Mr. Pontius, will you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter is true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I affirm.
All right. And swear or affirm is sufficient. What's your version?
Okay, my version is I bought this motorcycle after doing a ton of research on it to find out that it was stolen and then it was recovered. They don't issue a salvage title on a stolen vehicle. They wait till it's recovered and then they issue the salvage title. Okay, so I did all the research. I was okay with it after doing all my research. 2 years later, when I go to sell it, I advertised it as once stolen and recovered. No title, just the way I got it. He knew that. Josh knew that. He asked me if he could have the VIN numbers run. I said, absolutely. I just ran them. You know, I did all the work. So come on. Well, when she ran it, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, well, it's a mistake in the computer, you know, because it was stolen. I told her it was stolen at one time, but it was recovered before she even ran the VIN numbers, and that I didn't have the title. And she came back and said it was still stolen. I said, well, it's got to be a mistake. Can you verify it? I didn't get a lot of information from her at all. Just that all she would tell me was that Liberty Mutual was the owner, and it was stolen out of Detroit. Okay. So I'm not going to argue with her. I let her take it. The next morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, I was at the Secretary of State's office. The clerk told me that she would get a flash if it was in their system as stolen. Nothing came back in her system as stolen. It wasn't, and as far as she could tell, it wasn't stolen. Okay. I came home. I called the insurance company. I called all the way to Detroit. I ended up calling Boston to the head lady, the head honcho that runs the whole show. She said that motorcycle's not in their system anywhere. All right. So then, after I talked
just a minute, every single thing you're telling me is hearsay. Somebody told me this. Somebody told me this. Somebody told me this. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they said. She has a lien readout from Detroit Police Department saying this motorcycle is stolen. Please impound it. So somebody talked to you and you talked to some unnamed person at some unnamed Secretary of State's office. They told you it didn't show up as stolen. And you did your research, but you never ever had a title to it.
It's because I can't register a vehicle in my name. You won't let me.
Well, I didn't do it. The Secretary of State did, but this vehicle is stolen. Just a minute, stolen. Deputy Britton, you wanted to add something?
I just wanted to be clear that the reason that the Secretary of State wouldn't have it stolen in their system the next day is because it would have been removed out of the system as stolen that night. Just so that Mr. Pontius, you were aware of why that would occur.
So once you impounded it, it came out of the system as stolen.
Then why didn't they
Correct.
put it in the abandoned vehicle database like the law says to do? Because it's still not there. I don't
All
appreciate
right, go
that.
ahead, Mr. Pontius.
I don't appreciate being cut off like that. I said, why haven't they put it in the abandoned vehicle database like they're supposed to do? Because as of this morning, when I checked, it's still not in there. They have 7 days to do that. It's not in there. Broker's towing, I know it's hearsay, but this is just a show cause and a petition, because I'm not done. I'll take this all the way. I don't care. I'm pulling bonds on this. I'm upset. I want my property back. I know it's not stolen.
I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. You did some research. You never had a title to this. Somebody reported it as stolen at somewhere, and you're saying it was recovered and should have been abandoned and titleable, but it never was.
Okay.
So you've got this hot potato of a motorcycle that you don't have a title to. You try to sell it to somebody without a title, and they indicate it's stolen. So she impounds it at the direction of the Detroit Motor Vehicle Department, and it's impounded, it's taken to brokers. Now, one thing we don't know, according to you, according to brokers, somebody has already come and recovered this motorcycle. We may need to get Mr. Roberts here, Kevin Roberts, the owner of brokers, to help us with that. Do you have any knowledge of that, Deputy Britton?
I don't. When brokers came to tow it, I told them that it was going to be held for Detroit Police Department and wait for their contact. Detroit that night had sent dispatch a long list of questions for me, one of which was where it was going to be towed to, and I told them brokers and gave them brokers address and phone number as well, so that they would have that information. I don't know if they would have that.
You still have that communication?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Hang on to it.
I absolutely will.
Or was that included in the documentation you sent us,
Yes.
which was allegedly mailed to Mr. Pontius? We'll have to follow up on that. Under Sheriff, lieutenants, do any of you have any knowledge of what happened to the motorcycle once it went to brokers?
No, we don't.
All right, we need a couple pieces to this puzzle. Mr. Pontius needs to have an opportunity to review that encrypted message that was sent to us. I don't want to put your email out over the live stream here, Mr. Pontius, but we will make sure you get it. She said it was mailed on August 5th to the Ash Road address, but to make sure it gets there, we'll email it also. And we need to find out from brokers what happened to the bike.
Got his number right here.
Well,
I'll tell you what they told me.
all right.
They told me that Copart came and picked it up from South Lansing. He wouldn't give me any more information. He said he needed to speak. I said, okay. I called Copart in South Lansing. They said they didn't come pick that bike up. They said they don't have it in their database anywhere. They don't have it. I talked to Matt DeLoche. He's the assistant manager. I know it's all hearsay. I'm just telling you what I'm told. And that's the whole issue with this whole thing. Everybody's telling me something different than what someone else is telling me. And nobody's verifying anything. And I want to know why the police officer, the Lieutenant Campbell, the sergeant or the supervisor of the stolen vehicle division for Detroit, Michigan, told me they didn't have that motorcycle in their database anywhere. And I want to know why.
Was that after it was seized? After it was seized or before?
After. It was stolen in 2020.
They took it out of the stolen database once it was recovered. So I guess we'll follow up on that.
Isn't there a record? What do they erase it?
I can't speak for Detroit PD or what their protocol is, but
I know that when you take something out of the computer, they just change the status of it. They don't remove the record of it.
Well, let's find a place to continue this to. How about Thursday, August 29th at 10 a.m.?
Why can't we get to the bottom of this now?
Excuse me?
I said, why can't we get to the bottom of this now?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to sign an order dismissing your case. I want you to have an opportunity to look at the documentation that I saw that confirms that this motorcycle was confirmed as stolen and belongs to Liberty Mutual Insurance. It was
Okay.
seized lawfully by the deputy pursuant to that directive, and the true owner apparently has come and got it.
Can I ask you a question?
So I'm continuing this for your benefit.
All right, I just have one question.
All right.
If it was stolen in 2020, how come a new title was issued for it on October 1st, 2022? Just answer me that.
What was the date?
October 2022.
Well, who was the new title issued to?
I don't know. I don't have that information, but they can tell you that a new title was issued.
Who?
The Secretary of State.
Yeah, the new title was issued to Liberty Mutual Insurance, and you don't eat while you're in court.
Oh, I'm
Gee
sorry.
whiz.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry. I totally didn't put two and two together. I apologize.
Yeah, the new title was issued to the insurance company who insured this stolen vehicle.
That's
And
right.
they're the ones that came and got it.
Once they recover
So-
it, they get a new title, not before. They don't
All right.
issue a
Well,
sales
so
title.
do you want me to continue this? You want me to just pull the trigger on it today?
No, I want you to, you know, if you feel like you have to do that when my questions aren't answered, and I've got common sense questions that 2 and 2 makes 4, and nobody seems to be able to add up, then I don't understand. Just because I didn't have a title for a vehicle, I had the bill of sale. I'm saying that I bought it. I'm saying that I own it. And I'm saying there was a new title issued to it, and they don't do that until it's recovered.
All right. Well, there are certain things that you can buy, a piano, Gibson guitar, piece of furniture with a bill of sale, and that's proof of ownership. When something is titled, like an automobile or a motorcycle, the lawful owner of it is whoever owns the title.
Not never
And
stated.
you never had a title for this, so you and I are
Like
doing
that
two
never
different
state.
kinds of math. You had a bill of sale. I could give you a bill of sale for the Empire State Building. That doesn't mean I have the authority to transfer it. This is a titled instrument. It's a motorcycle that requires to be titled into the Michigan Secretary of State.
Well,
It
I have full
was
faith
not.
and credit of the United States of America, so I can use any law in the United States. You know, just because
Well-
one state says its title, I can still own a vehicle without having to register it to the state.
Perhaps, but when it comes to a legal fight, the person that owns it is the person whose name is on the title. So,
I've got a
I'm
bill of
willing
sale.
I'm willing to continue this to allow you to review those documents that detail the discussion about the vehicle being stolen. In your defense, arguably you haven't seen it. And to find out from Mr. Kevin Roberts what happened to the motorcycle. So if you're agreeable, I will continue it. If you're not, I'll just make a decision right now.
Of course, I'm agreeable if you with like that.
All right, well, let's continue this to August 29th at 9:30.
All right. Why isn't it in the abandoned vehicle database? It was supposed to be done before 10 days or after 10 days.
I don't know that I know the answer to that.
Okay, well, it's law. And if it was stolen in
It
2020,
was
and still
entered as
stolen,
impounded, not as abandoned.
well, so when you get a vehicle that you recover stolen, it's not classified as abandoned after that? That's what the special motor vehicle theft laws I've got sitting over there say.
No, I think you've got some, 257, 252 has all the abandoned vehicle statute information in it. I'm not sure that this vehicle is abandoned. It's stolen.
No, it's not.
Well, it was stolen at some point.
It was. Yes, it was.
All right, we're going to continue this to August 29th at 9:30.
Okay.
I will subpoena Mr. Roberts.
Sir,
Yes?
is there any way that we can get the Secretary of State's records? Because I don't have the authority to get them.
What records do you want?
I want to know, because at one point, if it was stolen, Secretary of State would know about it. If it was recovered, they would know about it. If it was issued a new title and what kind of title it was issued, they would have done it. And all this plays a part of whether the motorcycle was recovered in the past or not. Unless it was stolen twice.
That's not a, has anybody ever run a title search on this motorcycle through
Yes.
SOS?
Yes.
Well, just a minute. I'm asking the sheriff, Deputy Britton, or any of the command staff, you know if that was ever done?
Hang on 1 second, Your Honor.
The Secretary of State paperwork states title holder information, Liberty Mutual Insurance. I don't know
What's the
about
date of that?
previous title. When I ran this, the title date, 10/5/2022.
So that's when the new title was issued to Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Yes, sir.
So according to the Secretary of State, the title holder is Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's also included in that information.
That's correct.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Pontius?
Yeah, it just confirms it. Because they don't issue a new title until they recover the vehicle. They don't issue a title on a stolen vehicle.
Well, they didn't issue it to you. They issued it to Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
The fact that
And
they
they're the
issued
title
it at all-
holder of this motorcycle.
The fact that they issued it at all shows that it was recovered. And it's no longer considered stolen.
All right, according to you, you're not the
Okay.
title holder.
Yeah, you're
Liberty
right, according
Mutual
to me.
Insurance. Did you buy it from Liberty Mutual Insurance?
No, I did not.
I don't know where this Mr. Gillette got it. He's in the middle of this. He didn't get it from Liberty Mutual Insurance either. So it's clear this motor vehicle was stolen. A new title was issued to someone other than Mr. Pontius. It is a titled piece of property, and the person that owns a titled piece of property is the person that holds the title. So for your benefit, I will continue this so you can review those documents that you should have received, but I'll make sure that you do receive. And then I'll subpoena Mr. Roberts. All right,
Okay.
I'm going to shut off the live feed because we're going to start our landlord.
We're back from all of that. And let's cover one thing. Hearsay. The definition of hearsay is an out-of-court statement offered into evidence to prove the truth of the matter asserted in the statement. Every time this guy says, Joe Bob at the Secretary of State told me that the car was not stolen, well, he's using Joe Bob's statement to prove his own statement. There are exceptions to the rule against hearsay, at least in Mississippi. I don't know what to say in Michigan, and that's where all this is going on. So that's all his case is. And the police obviously have all of these documents from insurance companies, from Secretary of State, titles, Detroit Police Department. And this guy just goes on and on and on in left field. And he does take a snack break. Very important. He takes a snack break in the middle of court. He's the first person I've ever seen take a snack break in the middle of court. I've heard of courts recessing to go have a coffee break, but I've never seen an individual take a snack break in the middle of his argument. I'm not certain it was really a break. He just kind of kept on trucking there. Leave a comment if you've seen that happen before. If you caught what he was eating, let me know. I couldn't tell. But Judge Middleton's trying to do this guy solid. He's saying, I'm going to keep your case alive and give you a chance to go refute all this evidence. And instead of hearsay, go get me real documents. This is really a great case to show why individuals shouldn't represent themselves. A 2010 Harley, it probably doesn't have enough value, honestly, to justify hiring an attorney. I always tell folks, if the value of what you're dealing with is less than $5,000, you're absolutely wasting your time on an attorney. If the value of it is $10,000, then you are starting to get to a point where you could break even if you hit a home run. But until you get above $10,000, I really wouldn't recommend anybody hiring an attorney. I don't know what the value of a 2010 Harley Davidson is. If you had a Fat Boy versus a Sportster, might be a different ballpark. I don't know. But he doesn't understand how the rules of evidence work. If he'd have brought things in from the Secretary of State's office, he said, I can't make people do this. That's bull. You have subpoena powers. The second you go and file a lawsuit or a petition or any kind of legal action in a court, you have subpoena powers. That gives you the ability to go and force people to come testify for you. It forces them to turn over documents to you. That's usually done through what we call a subpoena ducis tecum. And there are all kind of things that you can do. In some instances, you can go depose individuals. And that's where you sit down, have them under oath. You can record them if you want to. If you go watch Suits, they always have a little bitty camera that they sit on the table, and then they go into this screaming match, which that never happens in depositions, except for the few videos that you see on the internet. So never may be an incorrect word. But I've been doing it 10 years and I've never gotten into a screaming match in a deposition. It makes no sense why. It's kind of like A Few Good Men. Everybody says, you can't handle the truth. That's not what happens in a courtroom. Almost never happens in a courtroom. Put that caveat in there. But Judge Middleton's doing this guy solid. I don't think it'll do him any good, but I do think he is giving him every benefit of every doubt. And he may be the only person I know of that really just gets to talk over a judge without anything happening. You would not do that in any court that I can think of in the state of Mississippi. Solid rule is, judge starts talking, you shut up. It's judge's courtroom, not yours. I understand you're the citizen. I understand your taxes help pay for the building. I also understand he's the one, or she, with contempt of court powers. So, some free legal advice. Pretty sure it's applicable everywhere. But my law license stops at the state of Mississippi.
This is actually entitled In Re, the Impoundment of a Motor Vehicle, a 2010 Harley Davidson motorcycle. The petitioner is Stephen Pontius, and the respondent are Rachel Britton, T.J. Baker, Jason Bingaman, and the vehicle custodian is not the sheriff's department. It became a broker's towing and storage. I excused Deputy T.J. Baker from further proceedings in this matter because he really had very little to do with this. Deputy Lieutenant T.J. Harrington is present, and Under Sheriff Jason Bingaman. Also, Deputy Rachel Britton, who was here previously and testified under oath regarding the impoundment of this motorcycle. Mr. Stephen Pontius, the petitioner, is here also by Zoom. Joining us today is Mr. Kevin Roberts. He is the owner and operator of Brokers Towing, formerly of the city of Three Rivers, now just outside of Three Rivers. Mr. Roberts has testified in a number of these matters, and he has a very good knowledge of the statute, Michigan MCL 257252. Mr. Roberts, thank you for being here. I'm going to start out by swearing Deputy Britton, Mr. Roberts, and Mr. Pontius. Would you all please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. We heard from Mr. Britton and Deputy Britton and Mr. Pontius about this motorcycle. Mr. Pontius had purchased it without a title, contended it was a salvage vehicle. Someone asked the central dispatch to send an officer to do a title search on it, and it was determined that the vehicle was stolen, or reported stolen out of Detroit. So the vehicle was impounded, ultimately taken to brokers. And this was all testimony taken on August 19th. I continued the matter until today because there was some conjecture or speculation as to what actually happened to the motorcycle. So I summoned Mr. Kevin Roberts to tell us what happened. So, Mr. Roberts, did you come to be in possession of this Harley-Davidson motorcycle that was impounded by the sheriff's department?
We did, yes.
What can you tell us about it?
It was brought in as an impounded vehicle. It's a stolen vehicle, requested to be put on a hold inside for further processing by Detroit Police Department.
What was the date of that?
I believe it looks like that came in on July 11th, about probably 10 o'clock at night or so.
All right, what happened next?
Oh, well, we brought it in, we made room inside and we secured the vehicle and waited patiently while this thing took up our space for the Detroit Police Department to show up, which never happened. They decided that they had no interest in doing it. It was owned by, I believe it was Liberty Mutual, and they said it was up to Liberty Mutual what they wanted to do with it. I notified the St. Joe County Sheriff's Department. I talked to Jason, and I believe TJ Baker was in the room at the same time, and asked them if they had any further interest in it. And they said no, if Detroit indicated to them that they weren't going to follow through with anything else on it. So we made contact with Copart Auto Salvage Company. They'd been calling numerously to try to get the vehicle redeemed. So then they
Right,
said,
now,
pick up.
tell me who this is. Copart Auto Salvage?
Yeah, it's like an insurance auto auction. The two biggest ones we deal with are Copart, and they deal with specific insurance companies. And then there's IAA, Insurance Auto Auctions. So your wrecked vehicles, stolen recoveries, flood vehicles, anything of an insurance relation typically goes through one of them, and it's an auction, just like a used car auction for salvage.
If you know, how did Copart find out about this?
Well, as soon as the owner of the vehicle was notified that it was redeemed, which the owner was Liberty Mutual, then Liberty Mutual would contact through Copart. So my guess is Detroit Police Department notified Liberty Mutual that your vehicle's been redeemed. So then that's what started the process.
Negative.
All right, well, you'll have a chance to respond, Mr. Pontius.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, then what happened next?
They came and redeemed the vehicle. They paid our bill, picked it up, and it's gone.
So Copart did on behalf of Liberty Mutual?
Yeah, it was on August 7th. It was Scott's Towing and Salvage on behalf of Copart. So who picked it up about 1:30 in the afternoon.
What was your tow and storage bill at that point?
$3,638.80.
And the vehicle was released, and that's the last you saw of it?
That's correct.
The law requires, as you know, Mr. Roberts, there was confusion, frankly. We've discussed this. The statute was contradictory, and the question of whether a petitioner had to post a bond or not was open-ended until the case of Noel v. Ritzer, who went to the Michigan Court of Appeals and said a petitioner has to post a bond before they can have a hearing. Well, this vehicle has already been redeemed, paid for, and is gone. So I did not require Mr. Pontius to post a bond, but it would have been in the neighborhood of $3,600 before we would even have this hearing. So
I don't want to interject, but under 257, 252F, the only one that can file a petition is an owner or the secured party. So unless we have a bona fide owner, we shouldn't be here.
yes, there is certainly a compelling argument to that effect. But here we are. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Roberts? Mr. Pontius, anything you wish to ask him?
No.
Under Sheriff Bingaman, anyone else?
I would
No,
just
Your
like,
Honor.
All right. Mr. Roberts, thank you. It helped us get the full picture of what actually happened. And so now we know that. You're welcome to stay if you want to watch the rest of the proceedings. I know you're busy. I'll let you go.
Well,
Yeah.
I may be able to help you through this.
All right.
I don't know. I kind of watched brief through the previous hearing you guys had, and the thing is all out of shape.
Yes.
So
All right. Well, I'll just leave you there for now.
I'm able to help you.
All right. I'll mute you for now, and then we'll just see where we go. Oops. All right. We've taken lots of testimony. We've heard about the fact that this vehicle was in fact reported as stolen. We discussed the fact that with motor vehicles, a title is required. And in this case, the title was in Liberty Mutual Insurance. Mr. Pontius, is there anything else you wish the court to know?
yes, there is.
All right, well, I'll certainly hear what you have to say. Go ahead and tell me.
Bill of sale. I have the bill of sale. I know it's not title, but it's a bill of sale. It's a receipt for the purchase of the property. Okay, and another thing, the day that we went to court last time on the 19th, I called Copart and he ran them into their whole system. And he said, we didn't come pick up that bike. He said, we don't have that bike. I also called Liberty Mutual. I called them yesterday. They don't have any record of that bike, that motorcycle. Why is this? Can anybody hear me?
I hear you. I don't have an answer to that question. Everything you just said is hearsay. If
It's hearsay.
anyone was here from Liberty Mutual to tell us that, or Copart.
I'm under oath.
Yeah, but that
This
doesn't
happened.
abrogate the rules of evidence. What someone else told you is hearsay. That's why I asked Mr. Roberts to come and tell us directly what happened. You have a bill of sale, and as we discussed this the last time, this is a motor vehicle. It's not a piano. It's not a piece of artwork.
It's a motor vehicle. When I registered.
You have a bill of sale for a stolen motorcycle.
I have a bill of sale. for
And the
property.
whole time you owned it, you never were able to obtain a title for it. In fact, the title was in Liberty Mutual. Now, I was going to give you this, Mr. Pontius, because I got what I will refer to as ex parte communication from someone that watched the hearing, and it was put in the file, and I read it before I realized what it was. So it doesn't really affect my decision, but you're entitled to know because I did read it. A viewer, his name is Martin from New Mexico, said, I am a retired casualty insurance loss control services with an emphasis on pre-loss property safety inspections. In New Mexico, we aren't in New Mexico, statutes, an insurance company is fully entitled to all physical property ownership rights upon full payment of claims regarding said physical property. I presume statutes in Michigan and other states are similar. The most likely scenario is the insurance company transferred the vehicle to itself to preserve their rights subsequent to paying a claim proffered by the previous owner. The person who owned the motorcycle, it was stolen, and they made it a claim with their insurance company, and they paid for it. And when the vehicle was recovered, the insurance company had taken the title to it.
That's
And
right.
the insurance, now, absent that, Mr. Pontius, in order for you to get that bike out of impound, you have had to pay, as of that date, August 7th, $3,638.80.
Why,
This company paid the impound, had the vehicle taken, and presumably sold at auction.
I wasn't able to get the bike out no matter what. There was a police hold on it.
Yes, because it was stolen. So
Because
you're
it was
certainly going to have a
recovered as
right to
well.
appeal this, but I agree with Mr. Roberts. You don't even have standing to bring this action because you're not the title holder of the property. I find that the police agency complied with the procedures established for the processing of abandoned vehicles under the statute 257252A, B, and D. It is ordered that no refund of charges shall be made. The vehicle has been redeemed.
I was never given the opportunity to redeem the vehicle. And why till that day? Why till the 7th? Because that's the day they picked it up.
Yeah,
That's the day. What about the day after when I was claiming the motorcycle as mine? Here I am, but nobody would listen to me and I couldn't get it out because there was a police hold on it.
nobody would listen to you because you didn't have a title for it.
But I have a bill of sale. I bought the property.
I don't care. I have a bill of sale is somebody can write on the back of a napkin.
Well, I'm not going to register my vehicle with the state.
Well, so you're not the owner of it, according to the state.
Well,
So
all right.
I find
I'll
that the
appeal it.
police, well, you can certainly appeal it.
I will.
The police, Deputy Britton, the sheriff, undersheriff, went the extra mile contacting Detroit directly. Mr. Roberts does what he does. He comes and answers the call, impounds the vehicle, gives notice to the title holder. The title holder came and redeemed it. And
I
you
think it's
are,
awful funny that everything that everybody's telling me, I can't verify. Fine. You want to cut me off? Have a good day.
well, no, I'm not gonna cut you off, but there's nothing else to say about it. You didn't have the title. The
I
police
don't need the
did.
title to purchase it. If I
You
wanted to
need
make
the
parts
title,
out
you
of it,
don't need the title, you need the title to own it. I'm not gonna argue with anymore. I've ruled in
do I need a
their
title to hold
behalf.
my couch?
You can appeal it and I will enter the order today. Mr. Roberts, thank you for being here. Everyone else, you're all good to go. And I'll send you a copy of that order, Mr. Pontius.
I've actually dealt with Copart a good bit. If you are in an automobile accident and your car is totaled, almost certainly the insurance company will sell your car to Copart. And I've had to crawl through their yards before, looking at wrecked vehicles and things like that. And I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I have. It was an interesting one. I enjoyed it, had a good time. Y'all have a great night.